owner and president of Webb Insurance, Mike Webb. And Mike, you have decades of experience in the insurance industry as well. I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you for taking your time to do this for everybody.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right, guys. So Michael has nearly 3 decades of experience in the insurance industry. And Mike, I know you've seen changes. Things are changing. They're changing in the market right now. We just talked about in our team meeting, things are changing. Can you share some insights into how the field of insurance has evolved during your career and how these changes have impacted the services you provide for your clients today?
Sure thing. A little bit of history. I actually kind of grew up in the business. My father was an agent. So I was introduced actually in the middle school period of time in my life to insurance and throughout high school. And periodically when I was at Mizzou, I'd go back and work with him in that agency during the summer and so on and so forth. And when I think about over the past, oh my gosh, now I'm not going to talk about the amount of time. I'll just say that it's been interesting from very simplistic ways of writing business when I think about the late 80s and early 90s to where they're using credit scoring, there's technology being used, drones, all those things that have changed the way that we have to look at business. And it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because you can see absolutely everything. You get to know the risk. And what I mean by that is it's a blessing that we get to know all of that, but sometimes the curse is you get to know all of that, so we want to make sure that it's right for the client. And that's the most important thing. We have 3 clients that we serve, and being an independent agency, we have to, of course, work with our insurance companies. We work with our clients and we work with our agents, and we want to make sure that we have that in that inverted funnel. When you look at the way that we manage, we want to take care of all those folks.
Yeah, I can totally tell that. And every time we have conversations about the direction that you're taking the organization as we navigate some of the changes and complexities in the markets, you're always client focused, always focused about the clients and our team and caring about us and the clients as well. So that is a testament to your leadership. And I'm so excited to work in an organization where the owner of the organization, the president of the organization, cares so deeply about each individual that works there and the people that they serve as clients. That both are always thought about and talked about in every conversation.
No,
And yeah, for sure. Your dedication to continuing education and professional development, Mike, is evident with your CLU and CHFC designations. How have these qualifications enhanced your ability to serve your clients, and what motivated you to pursue them?
So the CLU stands for Charter Life Underwriter, and CHFC stands for Chartered Financial Consultant. These are courses that are earned. You have to have practical time in the business. You have to, of course, take exams for these. And when you think about the designations themselves, it blends over into the commercial insurance side heavily. And that in working with business owners or working with individuals who are also business owners, you have to get to know them. You have to get to know their risk. Whenever we talk about areas of risk through a sister company in St. Charles Financial Services, there's 7, 8 main areas of risk that we have to talk about. And so protection and liability is one of those. I always say, hey, you know what? You want to make somebody else the deep pocket, not your assets. And that's ends up being where, hey, buying the right coverage makes the most sense. And when we look at the course work that is involved in those, from estate planning to business valuation, business planning, income stream during retirement, how do we end up doing what? Making sure that you keep your wealth, not lose it. All these things are very, very important. And when you blend in the right commercial insurance coverage to that, and it's done the right way, it's so important to that business owner and to the family. We want to make sure it's right.
Yeah, and you're focused on that. Like that's every aspect of everything that we talk about as an organization is making sure that it's done right. Also, as a lifelong resident of St. Charles, your connection to the community is undoubtedly strong. How has your local experience and personal familiarity with the area benefited your clients when it comes to tailoring insurance solutions to their unique needs, Mike?
Sure thing. I have born and raised in this area, and outside of my years when I was at Mizzou. And at the end of the day, it comes down to everything's about community. Being anywhere from, I've been a board member for the local Kiwanis Club, another organization, Unlimited Play. These organizations are really children focused. And when you take a look at the future, I mean, we talk about it all the time. All families do. Children are the future, and if we can make that better from the perspective of better leaders, better citizens, become more knowledgeable, how can we continue to improve it? That's the bottom line. And I sure hope that the next generation, including my daughters, are much better than I am, because that means good things for us, for the community, and for the nation.
Yeah. I appreciate that, and I'm sure our audience does too. And so, Mike, as we wrap up our conversation today, I think it's important that we take time. Can you share a particular memorable success story from your career where your experience and dedication made a significant difference in a client's life or the business, their
Absolutely.
business?
Yeah, I'd like to probably share a couple. One specifically on the commercial line side, where we had somebody reach out in the St. Louis area who they were a property developer, actually had quite an extensive portfolio, and it just changed to us. This has been quite some time ago, and we started writing the policies for those buildings. And one of them was a very large building. It was actually an 8-story building, and everything had been renovated, but things happen, right? We have one of those very cold winters, and on the 8th floor, that there had been a burst pipe, and it proceeded to flood every floor of the building. So it ended up being a high 6-figure loss, if I remember correctly. And because of the way that we wrote the building, the client was more than happy with all the lines of coverage that they had. We've also seen this on the liability insurance side, and you hate to see these scenes on the road to where you have somebody driving a heavy truck and something happens, whether it be from a weather standpoint or something else. Sometimes somebody can swerve in a lane, and what's your natural reaction? You kind of jerk and try to avoid that, right? And you have to make it that split-second decision. I remember at one time years ago, we did have a total loss in that situation. Thankfully, there had been no fatalities, but that's the reason why we wanted to make sure that policies are written right. Lastly, an individual who is also a business owner who had bought a policy after we had completed some planning for them on the long-term care side, longevity side, to where the policy was put into place in the spring. It was in May. The individual had retired, and unfortunately, by the month of August, had had a pretty massive stroke. And knowing that that was able to alleviate so much financial burden by having that protection, that's the real life story, right? And I have so many more, including life insurance and other areas. But that's the bottom line, and the reason why we're so passionate about this is looking at A to Z. How can we end up not only protecting the family owner, the business, but also wrapping that up into the other companies that we also have here, so that we can really work this A to Z. And that's always exciting for me because at the end of the day, we want to be able to provide a true valuable service to the community.
Yeah, and if working here for a period of time, we do. I've seen it. I've watched you guys take care of endless clients with their changes and requests and needs and different aspects of all of the back end mechanics. Like I never knew how much effort and energy went into caring for the clients from an insurance perspective. I thought I just paid premiums and then the insurance was there. But everything from making sure the changes get in or making sure that people get their certificates when they need them, through the aspect of when there's a claim and helping to navigate people through that process. That level of service is just, it's not out there anymore, Mike.
Yeah,
What
that's
How did you determine to do all that?
there have been certain people in my life that have been influenced. I've had a couple of mentors when I look back over the 30 plus years of being in business. And when you really think about what you can do to make a change in somebody's life, um, one of them, for example, his first name is Don. One of the things he said is, because he was speaking to a group of us, He said, you know what? What's going to happen if something happens to you? And how does your family react? And how do they know? Well, in addition to the estate planning documents and things that you have to have, he said, you know what? Why don't you leave them a love letter? And basically, all that means is tell them where things are, how much you cared, how much you're looking for, even though you won't be there, how much they can do in the future. And, it's just, it builds them up. And I would even take it a step further. Some people are doing this with videos and things like that, right? So, it's not just financial, it's just insurance, it's the holistic aspect of what we can do for people and just little bits and pieces of that. When you think about how over time you work with clients, it just adds up. And that's the kind of value that we want to be able to provide to our clients, to the community, and really look at it not short term, but short term and long term. So that's very important to us.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today, Mike. I do have to ask you the same question we've been asking everybody for the month of October. What frightens you?
Wow. Ever since I saw that, Nathan, and I'm kind of like, I'm not exactly sure I'm going to answer that. Uh, but the thing that wakes me up sometimes is making sure that what we do from start to finish really matters. Um, did we do everything that we could do in that period of time? And to answer that, I always tell people we want to excel, we want to be great. But at the same time, any client that walks in that door that thinks we're going to get it right 100% of the time, my answer to that. I tell this to everybody. We're going to get it right the majority of the time. But whoever tells you it's going to be 100%, we know that's not true. But we want to continue to excel, provide good value to the community. We'll do all that we can for our customers, the community, our friends, family. We want to be that kind of business.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally tell that. And I appreciate that and respect that about our organization here because it bleeds top down, bottom up. Everybody in the organization cares. And I think it's what keeps us all up at night is if we're not providing great service for people and there's something that there's an area of concern that we didn't address or didn't deal with or whatever, that is the thing that would keep anybody up at night that cares about their clients the way that we do. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you for everybody who logged into this in order to take a look at it.
All right. So there you have it, guys. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you have it. We have just about concluded our Meet the Team commercial insurance webinar that we've done for you guys to help you better understand who we are, who our organization is from a commercial insurance perspective. I'm appreciative that you guys have got to know and learn a little bit more about Kim, Dave, Judette, Scott, and Mike. And hopefully you have a better understanding of some of the wonderful things that they do behind the scenes for you, as well as have an understanding of a more personal connection of whether it's spiders or sharks, or whether it's just not being able to sleep at night sometimes because we want to make sure we're providing the absolute best service for you. We want you to have a better understanding of who we are and how much we do care about you and what makes a difference. That's the types of things in life, guys, that really matter is when you get to know somebody for who they are, what they care about, and what they value. And speaking of value, we do value random facts in our office. And one more random fact for the day, in the lieu of October and the theme of Halloween. In Tokyo, you can have a dinner at a vampire themed restaurant decorated with skulls and coffins. So there you have it. That's going to conclude our webinar for today. Appreciate you guys taking the time. If you enjoyed this, by the way, make sure you share it on Facebook. If you like these types of videos and you want to learn more about our team, you want to learn more about commercial insurance, you want to have a better understanding of who we are as an organization, you want to have a better understanding of how you're going to be cared for as a client, please head on over to YouTube, search up Webb Insurance, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That will help you to better understand and know more information like this. If you like this, you'll love what we have coming up in store for you in the future. You guys take care. Thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us on today's webinar.